Welcome everyone to the 7th edition of Still the Alpha. Today I'm your co-host alongside Delta. No Alex or Victor today as they're over in Singapore, but I'm sure we'll have a great time anyway. We have Delta, who's a good friend of mine and a trader, and then we also have as a guest Marusha, who's another good friend of mine and also a trader turned Webtoon artist extraordinaire and the creator of Maru Studios. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, go ahead, Maru.
I feel like there is nothing much more to say aside trader, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much the same. I'm the regular shitposter trader on your feed.
Yeah, let's say our job is literally shitposting online. It's better.
Yeah, it's funny because both of our bios say first something else and then a trader, you know?
And before we get into our questions today, just a reminder for anybody who wants to ask me a question, Delta a question, or Maru, make sure to use the chat section, which should be the bottom right of your screen, just like a little speech bubble. And let's get into it.
All right, nice. So I'm going to take the handle. Well, me and Marusha know each other for quite some time now. I think it's coming to 2 years or maybe even almost 3. But maybe some of our audience probably don't know you that well. Well, I'll start with the first question that is the easiest to ask any trader is, what actually made you get into trading? How did you actually get into that?
Yeah. By the way, it's been 2 years, I think, because I remember discovering you because you were having a Telegram where you were sharing some good stuff, actually. So yeah, it's been a bit more than 2 years we know each other.
Yeah.
I discovered trading because I was playing with somebody on Fortnite, basically, and his job was crypto. So over time we became friends, and I was a bit, I wanted to know more about his job because I came from cybersecurity and computer networking, which was my previous job before web developer. So I was interested into this world crypto. I knew about it because I studied computer networking, but I knew more blockchains than crypto. So yeah, that's how I discovered crypto.
Oh, that's cool. And you just basically learned from him and saw the charts and just started to gravitate towards it, yeah?
He learned me a very, very basic layer. Like basically explain me, okay, stop loss, what is the difference between market price and order book price and index price, which is a bit different. Working liquidation, leverage, what was big crypto, little crypto, but it was at a very basic level, but it gave me, better basics that majority got, I feel like.
Yeah. All right, that's cool. And what year was it? This was...
It was early, I think like we play 2 quarterly actually, like from the start of 2019. I think you can find back the date because it was season 2 or 3 of Fortnite actually, if I remember. And after I've tried investing in summer 2019, I don't know why it took me time to jump because in France, like basically trading is very policy. Like majority of parents who give you education, of course, they're gonna remind 2008 or, for example, the bubble.com, which we got also in France, like the biggest internet provider, which was Orange. I've got a Wild Up and Wild Down. So yeah, it took me time to jump in actually, maybe 1 or 2 quarterly.
So I'm hearing without Fortnite, there would be no Marusha.
No, I don't think so because the way he was explaining his job was a bit different than the approach I see right now. Like since he was more an investor with leverage that a intraday trader, I feel like the way you were explaining was quite basic, which is like buy low, sell high. And I was like, oh, actually, it isn't that bad. But when you came to market, you realize reality is a bit different. But it also took me time to realize it, like maybe 1 year at least. So I was already in the adventure of trading and trying to figure out the whole thing.
Hmm. Yeah, no, well, I'm guessing what Reese is trying to say that if not for Fortnite, you maybe have not gotten into trading more professionally and etc. Which is
Yeah, no, I would have stayed in video game development, I think, because I was bored of web development because it's every time you need to lower your price, there is not that much demand.
yeah.
So we're starting to converting into video game dev. And I would have stayed in, I think, because I still enjoy this field.
Hmm. All right, nice. Well, I mean, so now you've been trading for 4 years, and with your experience, what do you feel are the qualities that would make someone a successful scalper or generally just a successful trader?
I think the biggest one is problem solving because what you need to be profitable is having an edge more often than not at least. So be good at problem solving is good because you're going to find a strategy where you can repeat it. But if you don't have this problem solving type of stuff, you're not going to find an edge easily. I will say also maybe mm, intelligence, of course, because
Hmm.
you need to understand a field will constantly evolve. It's not like a field where it stays the same, you know. Every time we have new meta type of stuff. So it asks a certain intelligence, to be honest. And yeah, I think that's already too good quality, actually, especially problem solving. Like if you want to have an edge, you gotta fight a problem and you have to solve it to repeat this action enough time to be profitable.
Yeah, these are good. I feel like problem solving is a really good one, especially, when you're trading, you need to have quick problem solving, doing everything live. Um, so yeah, that's probably
Yeah.
something that is going to help a lot.
Yeah.
All right. And what do you think over the last 4 years were the biggest lesson? What was the one specific lesson that you've had that you feel like changed a lot with your trading or just something that is so memorable that, affected you for the rest of your trading career?
Mm, I feel like the main one will be about risk. Like you need to take risk constantly, but it's a weird middle where you need to be smart about how you take some risk. It's not you're going to take some risk for the sake of be exposed to the industry because majority of tokens since 2022 have gone down. But for example, the new shiny one like OPNX, Rollbit, Unibot, or a shit ton of other have gone up only. I mean, they have retraced for some, but I guess you see what I mean. So yes,
Mm-hmm.
the main point will be you need to take big risk because if you don't take risk, that's actually maybe the biggest risk you're gonna face because you're gonna miss a lot of stuff and the market not going backward every time we're moving to new stuff. So not taking risk is actually a big risk, which is quite hilarious. And I will say there is a time for everything, which is like there is a time to trade, but there is also time to not trade and just be very
Mm-hmm.
passive, patient, understand yourself also, like especially since it's almost like we are a top level athlete at some point where you need to be the best of yourself constantly. Otherwise the market gonna punish you if you take stupid risk or if you take decision where you're not at your best. So yeah, I will say biggest lesson is take some risk, but smart risk. And there is time to be in, but there is time to be out also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like probably one of the almost scariest situations for me specifically as a trader is to be active in the market and then later, once everything is over and everything is calm, I understand that I have been underperforming and I've been mid-curving everything just because, I've been too afraid of taking a certain risk or something like that. So yeah, I do feel like it's pretty important to know what field you're in and understand that sometimes you have to, try to go into the deep water.
Yeah,
So
deep
yeah.
water is a good term for that.
Hmm. And I like what you said about there's different times about different things. So, I mean, do you think that if someone is, trading at this moment, like most of the traders that are listening to this call, do you think that the average trader should trade in a bear market as well, or do you think it's better to just avoid it and just wait for easier conditions, like a bull market, for example?
Mm, yeah, that's a good question, actually.
Yeah,
Mm,
because I'll
I-
just add to it because a lot of
yeah, go
yeah,
on.
sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Uh, I feel like bear market is a bit stupid term sometimes because there is a bull market somewhere else. Like, for example, even if Bitcoin and Ethereum didn't perform well, we have saw all those random shitcoin pumping a lot. Like even today, I think TRB was a coin will move a lot, but
Mm-hmm.
even on chain. So that's the thing, like bear market or bull market is very subjective because it depends where you're looking at. There is always a bear market somewhere and a bull market somewhere else. But I will say trading a bear market gonna give you bad habit because you're gonna get used to fade a lot of stuff, which is not a bad habit actually because you should constantly looking to take profit. But I don't know. I feel like it's gonna give you bad habit, and you should just constantly maybe more looking to bull market behavior where you aping, you put your stop loss in profit. At least that's how I do it, and you chase
Mm-hmm.
the stop loss in profit, which is a good habit for a bull market because I remember 2020 and 2021. That's what I was doing constantly, and it's worked for me. But in bear market, it's more hard because we can always retest the same place more or less. So yeah, instead of forcing yourself to trade bear market, I will say take some rest, take less setup, and maybe search the place where there is a bull market and get exposure there. For example, Nvidia also. If you were trading stock, Nvidia performed very, very well for some months.
Yeah, yeah, that's a really good answer because I do agree with you that just like a lot of bigger, traders that are actually here for 3 and 4 cycles, older ones, are saying that trading a bear market usually will just give you PTSD and will just hurt your performance in the later bull market. Um, so it's better to avoid it. But at the same time, something that you said that is really good is there is always a bull market somewhere else. Because if you think about it, the liquidity is just leaving and it has to go somewhere else. Like it will go somewhere. You just have to find where it's going.
Yeah.
So, whether if it's with the friend tech right now or with all the on-chain activity that we had recently with all the meme coins and etc., NFTs and etc. There's really a lot of other things that, if you actually look at it, we had a lot of bull trends in different sectors in the last couple of months. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it connects really well with what you said earlier too, with accepting the fact that you have to take some risks. Because myself, for example, I only trade majors almost always, and I find it really hard for me even to take those steps into on-chain activity and meme coins on-chain and NFTs especially, for example, is something that I'm really bad at. So, yeah, that's a really good point. And well, what would you say is some advice you would give to someone who is starting to trade and especially starting to trade in the bear market and is struggling a little bit, finding himself not doing as well as, CT is showing or as well as he thought that he would? What advice would you give them?
Mm-hmm. Well, most of the time I say the same stuff, which makes sense to me. It's until you understand it better or you find an edge or a profitable setup if you're discretionary, bet very little amount of money because you will have time once you figure it out and you can beat more at this time. But if you are still trying to understand, that's not the time where you want to take some risk, especially most of the people who come don't have that much liquidity. So if you do a mistake, you most of the time gonna have to wait your next month's wage, for example, to repeat, I don't know, $300, $400, So
Mm-hmm.
bet little and also don't redo the same mistake. Like I like journaling. I don't do it anymore, but I used to do a shit ton. I have actually 3 little book where I've written down a lot of stuff, but that's only for me. Maybe it's not working for others, but don't redo the same mistake because once again, even if there is new opportunities, the old one are gone. And you should try to not redo the same mistake because your time is limited also. You don't have infinite time, so the more you're going to redo the same mistake, the more time you're going to lose, and time is the most valuable resource, so you should avoid wasting it, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like journaling is something that all new traders should do?
Excuse me? I didn't hear.
Do you feel like journaling is something that all new traders should be doing?
No, because some people never gonna learn, which I can understand because for a long period of my life, especially when I was trying to become a pro at League of Legends when I was younger, I wasn't learning whatever I did until I watched some replay of myself and I was like, oh, it's work. But it's really depend on the individual. For some people, it's gonna work because they're gonna trust into the process and they're gonna read again what they write down. Oh, what mistake did I do? Okay, that's a big red flag. I should avoid doing it again. But some people, even if they do this, they have a too big ego to criticize themselves. It's not only about journaling, it's also about be able to criticize yourself and constantly progress, which I don't think everybody can do actually. So it's really depend on the individual and how you need to find a way for yourself to progress, I will say. And once it's work, you keep the same method and process.
Do you
Mm-hmm.
journal, Marusha, or no?
I used to, but not anymore.
Yeah, but I agree with you about what you said. I feel like journaling is something that actually a lot of traders say that they do it, but a lot of people don't go back to the journal and try to learn from it and actually process all the data that they're collecting. So, and some people will never do it. So if you're not going to properly analyze the data later, then a journal is really useless.
Yeah, it's really up
Yeah.
to how individual want to grow.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Well, so you say, well, first of all, you've been posting about it a little bit, and also, I know it from personally knowing you. You've been trading Tradfi recently in the last year or so, if I'm not mistaken. What actually
Mhm.
made you start trading Tradfi? Why did you decide to make that move?
Because it was a period of my life where I wanted to grow as a trader, but more globally, not be specialized in one field, which is crypto, but understand the broader market like commodity, equity, bond. I wanted to try something else to I was started to be bored of crypto, to be honest. So I wanted to give a try to something else, something new, something fresh.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's also like you said, there's always, liquidity is moving between different places and etc. And like we've seen before the late December pump that we had on Bitcoin, actually S&P and Nasdaq were having a very nice bull trend.
Yeah.
So, people who were locked on crypto definitely missed that one.
Yeah, if you look at Bitcoin Nasdaq chart, I think it was Nasdaq, you realize the second part of 2021, it was a lower high for Bitcoin because Nasdaq and SPX was having better performance on the way up.
Hmm. Yeah, that's good. And what do you feel are the biggest differences between trading TradFi and trading crypto?
Mm, I was about to say liquidity, but I remember having pretty bad day about some illiquid pharmaceutical shitcoin. Uh, pretty bad. I will
Yeah.
say Tradfi is very clean the way it's trained. It's either a range or an extension, but once it's gonna extend, it's very vertical, even if that's not bull market. On crypto, you have vertical, but when it's bull market, and when it's not anymore bull market, it's gonna be a big range, which is well defined, right? But on TradFi, it's not working that way, to be honest. It's way more vertical, I will say. And when it's range, it's way more rangy also.
Yeah, I feel like the intraday ranges you have in TradFi are usually very clean, very nice. And it really is a very good asset to trade if you really are into scalping and low time frame trading. Um, yeah. Well, I have one more question about your bio actually. In your bio, you say that you don't trade anymore. Is it actually the case? You don't really feel like you're trading that much anymore, and why do you feel that that's the thing that's happening in your life?
No, initially it was a personal joke with one of my artists because the artists who work with me at Maru Studio, most of them live in Philippines, and basically, yeah, they were like, oh, you don't trade anymore. Now you babysit us. You kind of like a father for us. So it was like a joke. I don't trade anymore. But actually, my last big trade is XRP. And my body didn't appreciate it because, as you know, I have stomach issue. And it was 14 July, I remember, because I go see firework, and on middle of people, I puke, like really a big puke right in middle of people on firework. And so, yeah, since that day, I try to trade less because my body told me you stress too much when you trade, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like it was a good time to reduce my trading exposure, but I'm still investing a lot. Like most of my day is still very invested oriented, not anymore trading.
Hmm. So more like swing trading type of action. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
no
All right.
anymore if you trade a day.
Yeah. All right. Cool. And actually, one extra question about scalping and swing trading that I wanted to ask you is, what do you feel are the biggest differences between the two, and how do you think someone can actually see the two differences and make a decision of what to focus on more and etc.
Mm, Scalping is way more aggressive most of the time. You're gonna size way more and you're gonna have a really fast invalidation in terms of time, price. When it came to swing, you should allow yourself to stand against volatility because you expect a reverse of the trend, for example, but you're not going to time the top For example, you can do reverse trend in scalping. It's impossible, or you scalp but with some weird setup, to be honest. So yes,
Mm-hmm.
difference is when it came to swing, you need to see a bit more higher time frame, a longer period, less size, willing to be a bit underwater. When it came to scalping, if you're wrong, you're wrong. Close the position, go next. You put big size because you have big conviction. You should have a good win rate actually, because otherwise that's not really scalping. So yeah, it's quite two opposite style, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. All right, great. Well, we recently saw that you made a manga for Anata, which is an NFT project. And that's great because actually IDEX also owns an Anata, one of our own. Well, how long you've been animating or writing mangas for?
I've started around November or December 2022. I was co-writing with my writer A Way Out, which is now closed. But yeah, it's been 6 months, 7 months. I
Yeah, that's
never
nice. And
tried
you,
it before because I was respecting too much art. Like I'm a very art purist. I feel like art is reserved to a very few minority. So I was having a bit this imposter syndrome, like, yeah, you have nothing to do in art world. You're not enough talented. It's something you need to do since you are young or you are trash at it. But yeah, I've changed my position on it.
yeah, you've
Yeah,
changed your position. You started Maru, your basically your Maru Studio, which is fantastic.
I've
Yeah,
really
it's fun.
enjoyed seeing your journey, by the way, Maru, with Maru Studio specifically. And after Anata, what's kind of next for Maru Studios, if you don't mind talking about that a little bit? Just a bit of an alpha leak, I guess.
Um, so the main thing we're gonna stay is an on-trader. The issue is an on-trader is a bit expensive to produce, and the initial writer, the artist, she was pregnant. So basically, when we finish the chapter 2 of an on-trader, 2 weeks after she were at hospital, so she got a baby,
Oh, nice.
and
Congrats.
she wanted to come back. And I was like, look, you have a baby. I prefer you maybe staying away. So I give you 1 week to think about it. And she think about it and she was like, yeah, you're right. I prefer focusing on my baby, which I respect. And I'm the one actually who push her to do so. So that was, it was on pause. But yeah, right now I'm working on, I'm actually, it's almost over. We're coloring it, but a bit like Black Mirror. I wanted to try to talk about some topics society don't talk. A bit like Black Mirror, it's futuristic, weird type of world. And I wanted to do the same, like going into some topic which are a bit more taboo. People don't want to talk about it. So yeah, but I'm not gonna spoil about it.
Yeah, it sounds great. I mean, I'll be honest. I've never actually read any manga myself. I was never really that much into it. More into anime, if anything. And yeah, it was really fun for me to read Anon Trader when it was coming out.
I
So yeah, I
didn't
really hope
write
the next
it as
episode
a
is coming as well.
manga. I didn't
Coming.
write it as a manga webtoon. You can see when you read it. I'm very influenced by comic at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I
What are the
didn't
differences
mean to
between the
do
two?
the well, Japan is like big boobs, kawaii
Yeah.
story with the girl which gonna slip age into the dude, yada yada. And I was like, I don't want to approach it that way. I want it to be fun, which I do my best to. But I didn't want to keep that Grinch culture. So yeah,
All right, nice. Well, I mean, I don't think anyone is going to complain if there's big boobs and etc. But you know, everything
Yeah.
else fits too. Well, another interesting question regarding that topic is, what do you think about NFTs on any next cycles that we have? Do you think NFTs are going to be playing a big of a role as they have in the previous cycle in the next one?
Mm, I feel like that's a question which I have no really good answer. Uh, I think once again, whatever is old stuff, we're gonna find new stuff, and people will want to invest into new stuff. And majority of old stuff are gonna be for a bag holder. And knowing NFT already be adopted, like Dodge, for example, like even your favorite rapper, have a fucking Bored Ape or fucking Justin Bieber. So everybody is aware of NFT, which makes it hard. But I feel like we will have a different approach to it, and people will come in directly, like for Mr. Beast. It was 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think, and one dude actually, when you understand, it was NFT behind the back of. But yeah, I still feel like it's important to have those digital stuff which are like immutable, but how, I don't know. And I don't want to pretend I know, but I will say
Yeah.
yes, I will come back, but in a different form with different people, and the approach will be different. I don't think generative collection like we used to have, which are just speculation oriented, are here to stay for a longer term. Because aside if we have a new big bull run, giant liquidity coming, yeah, in this case, maybe we can go back to PvP with 10,000 coin, we know.
Hmm. Yeah, well, I definitely agree that I think it will come back in some different form. Maybe not PFPs, but something a little bit more practical, and etc. Yeah.
Yeah, I was having this idea actually, because I remember Japanese, they like having a little station which have a hologram on it. And I was like, actually, it's not a bad idea to have a unique hologram station where you just have to buy one NFT, which will be your avatar of this hologram, and you can be using online. But technically, it's very fucking hard. So I was like, nah, you know what? We will see later on.
Yeah, maybe in the next bull market.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Before we move on, I wanted to remind to our audience, if anyone has any questions tomorrow or to any one of the hosts, you can leave it in the comment section in the bottom right corner, and we're going to get to that in a couple of minutes. Now, Maru, I have a question about one of your trades that you've had in the last couple of months. Probably a lot of people saw it, those who follow you. You had a very successful trade on the Meladys NFT project. And, it really came out of nowhere. I mean, Meladys were basically flatlined, not a lot of volume, not a lot of activity. And suddenly they just exploded and went super high to I think it was like 7.5 ETH, right? Something like that.
Yeah,
What
but we could
actually,
only say that 5.
yeah, but it went from what? From 0.01 ETH or something like that. Something very, very cheap to basically 7 ETH. What made you take that trade? Why actually did you decide to just stock on so many Meladys?
I think it was more the fact I could allow myself than anything else. I
Mm-hmm.
was liking the project because it's like Neo Shibi, and I've grown into Tuhu community, which is very fan of this Neo Shibi type of stuff. Also, they are very inspired from Gwaryu. Gyaru, I don't know how you say exactly in Japanese, but it's like the gal type of girl in Japan, which is blonde hair, uh, a bit beachy style. And I don't know, I was like, I like the project, why I have some free money. I'm just gonna throw at it. I knew also some friends who were having a lot of money who were supporting them. So I was like, let's just give a try and we'll see how it will go, you know.
Hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess you were active in the community as well, right? Which I feel like a strong community is probably one of the best signals for something that can actually play out very well. Myself personally, I've seen it with both the Meladys, which they have a very, very strong community. I think it's probably the biggest community in the NFT space in crypto, in terms of active community and etc. And also we've
Yeah,
seen it with the meme coin, the Sonic Shiba Inu, right? Where
yeah, but
they're
because majority of people who trade Mog, Sonic Shiba Inu, SPX 69,000, all those people they are my lady at the end of the day. So
yeah,
that's why
exactly.
we have a strong community.
Yeah. And myself, I remember when the Milady started going up, because again, I had very bad experience with NFTs. Every single NFT I bought went to zero. So yeah, I pretty much decided to skip on that, and I regretted it a lot.
Melody is only NFT of non-profit actually. I have some other blue chips in Survey, but my lady is the only one who generates revenue for me since 2021. Because I've
Oh, that's
started
nice.
looking at NFT at the top, literally, which was summer 2021 when crypto Twitter was shitting it.
Hmm.
And yes, and only My Lady performed really well. But I've joined My Lady later on, I think. It was March 2022.
Yeah. And how long have you had the Maru Studio? That's approximately when you started Maru Studio as well, right?
No, 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 it's very late. I think I've started Maru Studio around February or March 2023.
Oh, okay. Nice. So it's really fresh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really fucking recent, to be honest. It's not something old. And that's why we have so little production also. Like we have 2 chapters of Anon Trader, one of Anata, one of A Way Out, one of the new thing coming. So it's been already 3 or 4 months, which I could produce faster, but that's not my idea. Like I try
Hmm.
to, instead of just be like, yo, you are an artist, you do whatever I told you and you shut the fuck up. I try to let them a bit of leeway, say, oh, okay, you want to try this angle, presenting the character this way, just do it. You send me the draft and I say yes or no, you know. So it's take a bit more time to produce than normally. Normally it's 3 weeks. Like if we want, we can release a chapter in 2-3 weeks. 2 weeks is a bit more expensive because I need to get some people outside. You know, it's
Hmm.
normal. It's it's very fast 2 weeks actually. It can be hard if you have complex background.
Yeah. Well, we don't need to rush you. You take your time. We just want Anon Trader Chapter 3.
Mhm.
Um, well, before we move on to the questions of the audience, again, reminding you guys, there's the chat option in the bottom right corner. Click on it and write any questions that you might have. Well, Maru, do you have any opinions about the market right now? About any, what are your views, any directions, any trades you want to share with us or anything like that?
Not particularly. I was expecting more move into September, but September isn't over, so I still hope we're gonna have some move later on.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, for SPX and Nasdaq, I don't know what to think. I try to prioritize buying some intraday option. even if most of the time I lose money, maybe one day we will have a big event and it's gonna swipe it. But I prefer having this edge that not be exposed.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I look at the market every day, but yeah, there is nothing much going on, to be honest. When you zoom out, it's still the same range over and over. And yes, you can swing some nice person, but my spot bag is so low that I don't really want to give some time to a tight range. Like if we start to move more, yeah, I will be more active. Like if we do a 10% daily candle, I will probably be inside the candle by myself, to be honest. But right now it's only 1 to 3% a day, so not
Yeah,
something I.
basically when volatility comes back, you will be more active.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys
What do
think
you
more
think?
volatility comes next year with potential ETF approvals and halvening of Bitcoin?
Yeah. Yeah, I think 2023 was boring, but 2024 is gonna be better. I don't.
What do
Yeah,
you
I
think,
don't, I don't
Delta?
think it's gonna keep that way.
Yeah, I agree with Marusha. I think that we will have in 2024 a few very big events. First of all, the halvening, and then we will have potential ETFs. Not only the fact that BlackRock, their deadline is in 2024, and if any ETF will be approved, I think BlackRock has the highest chance. So
Yeah.
that's one. And once BlackRock is approved, all of the others will just copy their model and they will be approved as well. So I do think we have all those narratives that hopefully will bring some nice volatility. What do you think, Maru? Do you think there's a good chance for any ETF approvals for BlackRock later this year?
Not this year. I don't think so. They don't seem like. I think what's gonna happen, but I'm not good at American politics, but we're gonna go through 2024 politics, and there are gonna be a lot of change into actual politician, and we will move on more to speculation market. But until then, we have to survive because markets still look a bit weird and the world ain't looking good. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very excited personally.
Yeah. Hopefully we will have Trump winning the election and, Trump is bullish the economy. So
Yeah, I mean Trump also sometime gonna make your fucking stock dump like 50% because he unhappy and he think about it. So yeah, let's let's calm down with Trump. We're gonna see who we get, but yeah, I feel like it's gonna change who behind Wendell the market. But we
I
have
don't.
to wait next election.
As long as the coins go up, I don't care.
If you zoom out enough, they always go up.
yeah, that's a good point. All right. Well, I guess we can take a look at if we have any questions.
Yeah, I'm not seeing too many questions here, so I'm happy for us to keep chatting. Or I know we've been going for nearly 50 minutes now, which has flown by for me. I'm happy to wrap up or keep going for a little bit.
Yeah.
How do you feel, Delta?
Yeah, I mean, Maru, do you have anything you want to add? Any general tips that you feel like, for example, helped you improve as a trader or as a participant in, this NFT space or whatever it is? Any tips that you can give to our audience in this specific market right now?
Not really. I mean, every time I repeat the same thing, but because it makes sense and it's work for me. Maybe try to, when you have time, understand yourself better as an individual, because to perform the best and be the best athlete into this market, You need to understand yourself the best, so you know your quality, your default, you leverage your quality, and you ban your default. So it's a bit generic advice, but that's worked for me, especially since I came back from a background of a fucking addicting gambling. So I knew how to ban this of my personality and leverage up the good stuff of be retarded.
Yeah, that's really good.
All right then, guys. I think it's time to wrap it up here. We've nearly been going for 50 minutes now. Thank you so much, Marusha, for coming on as a guest, and obviously Delta. Absolutely killed this week. Thank you so much for co-hosting with me today.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
And
It's been a blast to chat with you.
Appreciate everyone coming out in the audience. Shout out you guys, as always. And if anyone's been a bit of a latecomer, don't worry. We'll be putting together some notes for you as a follow-up after this Spaces. And last thing from me is don't forget to join the Discord, as that will be absolutely key coming up for our whitelist. Thank you, everyone.
And one more thing I'll add is, guys, if you are not following Marusha, go check out his profile. He has a lot of good content, and check also his profile of the Maru Studio, where you can read Anon Trader. It's a great comic. I enjoyed it personally, so I'm sure you guys will too.
All right, boys. Lil Kiss, take care as usual.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Take
everyone.
care, guys.
Take care.